and I'm just gonna watch it activate a little bit there. And but yeah, we'll get situated. Let me pull up my notes. So we're just getting things kicked off here. This will be the podcast recording. Mm, And the cool thing is that this is something new that we're doing that I think is really awesome.
So how does this work? It actually live streams the podcast.
Yeah, so right now this is going to be live streaming to YouTube, Facebook, a few different Facebook groups,
Nice.
LinkedIn, and Periscope. It's
Cool.
yeah, it's using a platform that's called a Restream,
Yeah, I've
and
seen that before.
yeah, I caught on to that with the like the Cheddar network, and like the
Hmm.
CEO of Cheddar just like um, they're on top of everything that's like kind of going viral, stuff like that. And um,
Cool.
when I saw that, I was just like, okay, wow, the Restream. And yeah, so doing the same thing. And then I was like, okay, now that we're all like working from home and things like that, but I'm hoping uh, that I have the audio setting, because the thing is that I have to make sure that it's working fine with the Zoom. And actually, let me kick off the
Gotcha.
Zoom recording. I'll just go ahead and start the recording right now. And yeah, so I have my screen sharing. So even people that are watching the live stream right now, they're going to be able to see the screen, and I'm actually going to be showing the event and stuff like that we're going to talk about
Awesome.
within there.
Cool.
So yeah, it's going to be really good stuff. So things are kicking off. So let me pull up my notes here. And everyone's watching us live. Okay, so this is great. This is really great stuff. And let me make sure. Okay, cool. All right, I'll get things started here. So now those
Cool.
watching live, we're going to get in the zone here because we're doing the recording, audio recording. Okay. Hey everybody, Brian McCumber here with Tech Money Talks. I am really excited today because we have a very special guest on the podcast returning. Paul Lipsky is a featured guest on Tech Money Talks. And if you don't know who he is, then you're missing out big time because he's a multi-million-dollar eBay, Amazon professional drop shipper and has tens of thousands of students, and he's been helping all of them. And we met in Chicago one time as he was passing through because he's living the laptop lifestyle and actually driving around in his RV, and just really awesome. So he has so much to talk about. So if you're interested in starting an online business to make extra money, you better save this episode in your back pocket and listen to it over and over again, because the stories and the tips you're going to learn here will give you the opportunity to quickly launch your own business to help your wallet grow fat. Now, Paul has one of the most subscribed YouTube channels out there related to eBay, Amazon drop shipping, and his mission is to empower others to achieve the same thing. Time is money, and everyone's looking to get a piece of his time, and I'm so happy to have him on the show today. Paul, thanks for joining us, man. How's it going?
It's going great. All things considered, doing fantastic. Sounds like you are as well. So thanks for having me
Yeah,
back on.
yeah. And I apologize because someone is calling me right now. Let me hang up. Let me actually close that window.
That's the beauty of
Interrupt.
live
That's
streaming.
that's live. It's live stream right now. Let me actually close that right now. Okay, cool. Yeah, sorry about that, Paul. Um,
No problem.
but really awesome stuff. So yeah, this is us. Getting back together, returning, and for a lot of important reasons. I mean, there's I would say things that have happened over the past couple of months. A lot has changed. So actually, to give perspective, for the audience listening, because this will be a recorded podcast that'll be released as well. It's April 16th, 2020. We're probably about maybe 3 weeks into like this, financial recession. People are still staying at home. All the stuff that's going on has just, really changed the world and the way that we live. So we're connecting here, but wanted to give, time perspective for people who are, will be listening to this podcast later on. And, but it's important times, and Paul, being busy himself, but I think the conversation that we can share with the audience will probably be very valuable, very important, and some current things that are going to be coming up to even help even more people. So I would say, maybe just to kick things off, maybe you can introduce yourself to the audience, and then we could talk about, how things have been, changing recently for you.
Yeah, for sure. So, my name is Paul. I've been selling on eBay for several years now, and Amazon, uh, pretty much the same amount of time. I use a model, it's drop shipping, just like you do, Brian, but drop shipping is a big umbrella term. The way I do is much different than the way that you do it. So, I drop ship from other retail websites onto eBay and Amazon. So it's very simple, very easy to get set up with that. Been doing that for years and have had a lot of success with it. So I've been teaching other people how to do it on my YouTube channel. I think we got like 45,000 subs on there now. Have several hundred students inside my courses as well. So I've been helping a lot of people with this. I'm really passionate about it because it completely changed my life. And like Brian, like you were saying, a few months ago, we decided to, sell our house or stop renting our house, get into a camper van, which, we have beds, toilet, kitchen in there. So it's like a nice van. And we've been traveling around the country, and we were having the time of our lives before all this started to unfold and the world kind of changed. So now we're kind of like settled down in a house, trying to stay safe.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, that's my backstory.
Wow. Wow. So that's one of the recent things that you guys did, kind of parked into a home instead of traveling in the RV.
Yeah, we tried it for a little bit. It was really hard. I mean, we can't put too much food in the van. There's not a lot of space, and
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
there's two parts to this. I mean, one, that means we have to go into the stores more, which puts us at risk, and the stores are also just don't have a lot of stuff. I mean, people are so panicked, they're buying everything up. So
Yeah.
even if we did see a lot of things, we couldn't buy a lot of it. So it just got to be a problem. So we went to a family member's house for about a month or so, 3 weeks. Spent the time there, but it kind of got a little cramped. There was a lot of us there, and so we just rented an Airbnb for now for a few weeks, especially because of the event, which I'm sure we'll talk about.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. And actually, let's dive into that right now, because I mean, I think that's a really important thing that I think will help a lot of people, which is, um, Tony Robbins always says, people get motivated either through inspiration or desperation. And I would say people that have been, following you, say from last year and earlier, and even myself and people listening to the podcast, that they've been pretty much operating, building their side hustle or maybe their laptop lifestyle business through inspiration. And now I think there's a good majority of the people that are now forced into desperation, and they're looking for work from home type of opportunities. They may have had some circumstance where they've been laid off or different things like that. And I think now, because of desperation and dealing with the current times, that now everyone's looking to find answers and to find different opportunities. And I think realizing that myself, and I believe that you take responsible efforts as well, as that, because there's a lot of scammers out there. People don't know what to believe. And the point of the podcast is to help lead people towards people that have been keeping it real and delivering real good value. And I think you've been exuding that over the past number of years. So I was wondering if you could speak to that, kind of like that importance, that shift of people that are looking into it, and then how it led to the concept of the work from home summit.
Well, I'm really glad you said that because I think that's really true. You know, I think you and I've listened to your podcast before and see the way that you talk about your different programs and your different services, and it always comes from that place of inspiration, because you and I both know that when we come to people and inspire them, that's when people are at their highest level. And that's when people are really able to achieve amazing things. But when people are coming to you from a place of desperation, it can be really rewarding to help those people. But those people tend to be, and I know because I've been there myself, very vulnerable to being taken advantage of. And I know because that's happened to me before as well.
Mhm.
So with everything going on, just like you said, there's a lot of people who are really desperate. And I know you don't want to see this happen. I certainly don't want to see this happen where those people get taken advantage of.
Yeah.
And luckily, because of all that I've been doing, like on my YouTube channel, talking to other entrepreneurs, I know who's out there, who's legitimate, who's actually doing this, who's actually making money online, the real deal. People like that you have on your podcast, because I know you vet them. People I have on my YouTube channel, I vet them as well. So I wanted to bring those people to the forefront. I wanted to show people that if you're looking to make money online right now, do not fall for become a victim. Become
Yeah.
someone who can actually achieve something by following these real vetted people. And that's who I'm bringing all together to the forefront. And that's kind of the reason I did this, started to put together this work from home summit, which is basically a 2 day live, completely free event where people can come in for this 2 days. There's about 10 different presentations. There might be more by the time next week it comes around. They can all, you can come watch all of them if you want. You can watch just the ones you're interested in and learn all these different business models or different ways to make money online. And you can decide for yourself which one is the best for you. Because I think that one of the problems when people are desperate is that they see an idea of how to make money online, and the person who's teaching it or talking about it or marketing it is trying to convince that person that their method is the only method, the best and only method to make money online. And as much as I love eBay and Amazon drop shipping, and I really think that almost anyone can make it work, and I know that you love Shopify, and I think you believe that pretty much almost anyone can make Shopify work. I think we would both agree that some models are better fit for some people. And
Yeah.
we also realize that our way is not the only way to make money online. We're real about that. We're honest about that. So that's why I'm bringing together all these different experts. And they're not just experts who are doing really well. Like Brian, you're obviously doing really well, but there are other Shopify sellers out there who are doing really well. But
Hmm.
I wanted you because you're also good at teaching how to do it. You have a track record of showing people, other people, and getting them results as well. So
Yeah.
it's not, it's, you need both of those kind of qualities. So I'm bringing together everyone, only people that have both those qualities into this 2 day event.
Yeah, no, that's great and very well said too. Because I mean that was actually the original. Going back 2 years ago, that was the original thought of the podcast, which is like just like you said, there's many ways to make money online. And when I did Tech Money Talks, I wanted to talk about all the money making opportunities that technology can bring. And what I began to realize was that because it was so broad of a topic, that I wasn't really accelerating. So it's almost like when you're starting your own business, they tell you to get a little bit niche focused on a particular thing so that can grow. Um, with the topic that I was on, it was just too broad. And there's so many different ways, whether if it's information products, courses, affiliates, the stuff that you do relate to Amazon and eBay, and then the shop. I had picked one which was uh, Shopify drop shipping, and then it started running from there. And even now, fast forward to this point, to over the past year, to kind of uh, distinguish myself or differentiate, leveraging the power of Clickfunnels. So realizing that, okay, we're not just in the business of selling products, and that's what I try to keep the marketing hat on. So meaning that, okay, when you're only in the business of selling products, then you're competing on price, and when everyone's competing on price, then it becomes a race to the bottom. And so I feel like if so, when people begin to say, "Oh, well, this product's saturated," they really mean that there's so many people competing on price that it's not profitable anymore and it's saturated. But if if I wear a different hat where I say, "Okay, well, I'm focused on being a better marketer, and if I can make a better offer, then I'm not competing on price. I could just, figure out creative ways to make a better offer so I could still maintain a market value price with profit margins and still attract customers because they feel like they're getting greater value as opposed to just competing on price. And that was one of the things that I've been doing over the past year, which has been really, really taken off. But to go back to the point of what you said, which is like, uh, there's many different avenues, and I think this summit that you put together is really great because it's going to cover all those different aspects of it and expertise of what everybody's strength, and it'll give the users or people that are looking the opportunity to learn from vetted experts that are in that industry.
Yeah, and even if you know what you want to do, like let's say you want to be doing eBay drop shipping, an event like this is still can still be hugely valuable because when people get so focused in on their little niche, what often happens is they're not open to ideas from other experts in other fields and other niches. So, like, I'll give you an example. For instance, I when I went to your talk in Colorado, in Chicago earlier this year, I had been doing like a little bit of Shopify before that, so I was interested in hearing what you had to say about Shopify. But I was surprised when you started talking about ClickFunnels. It was something I'd never heard Shopify sellers talk about before. And I started like exploring ClickFunnels and things like that for Shopify. Ultimately, we're not really selling on Shopify, but that opened up ClickFunnels for me. And I've started to use it for my marketing for when I'm teaching people, like for webinars and things like that. And it's a great software. And I never
Yeah.
actually would have used it before had I not like learned how to use it by by learning from you, basically.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. Yeah, thanks for sharing that too. And I mean, and then going to the backstory is just like, I mean, I've been around since like the .com boom, and I even have the book behind me. So for those that are watching the
Yeah.
video, one of Russell's books. But I mean, it goes back to like, okay, there was a pain point where he had a pain point of needing to create sites and sales funnels, needing to create it over and over again so he could keep selling, keep creating, keep selling, keep creating, and so it's basically a software as a service that's built by a digital marketer since that's been around since the .com boom, and so all the bells and whistles of how to be an effective marketer are in that platform. But now fast forward to today, um, there's growth, there's strength in other platforms, and it's like, okay, the ones who are really going to have that competitive advantage is the ones that, how can I create those mashups, you know? And
Mhm.
basically, that's what I was doing, a mashup of ClickFunnels with Shopify. And because they actually opened up an API that integrates with it, and that started a little over a year ago. Um, Still to this day, not that many people are taking advantage of it or even realize it. So now you're basically kind of wrapping, the Shopify platform with ClickFunnels, and I'm taking full advantage of
Mm.
it. And I'm pretty sure, now that your head's on that level, it's like, okay, man, what can I do, to actually lead people into Amazon and eBay? There might be something there. Those kind of mashups open up a whole realm of opportunities.
Yeah, I didn't want to give out too many spoilers, but it's something definitely we've been looking into.
You're looking
Uh,
into? Wow, that's good to
yeah,
know.
but there are a lot of rules. Like you know, a customer on eBay is not my customer; it's eBay's customer,
Yeah,
technically. So
yeah,
there's a little bit of a gray area there in terms of getting them off site. So you got to
yeah.
be careful what you say publicly, things like that.
Yeah, no, for sure. But I mean, it goes back to So that's one of the pain points, right? So say with you know with eBay or Amazon, they kind of hold who your customers are, and you may not necessarily have the list of the customers to sell to them directly again. But when it's ClickFunnels, you know, you're able to to capture that first and start
Hmm.
building your own list. And if it's with email, or even now with Messenger or text, that you're able to capture that. Uh, but then with your marketing hat, you get a little bit creative. So you could be selling those products on eBay, but even if there's a little special offer, a little link or something like that in the notes that says, hey, we appreciate you doing this, and as a added bonus, you're gonna get this free thing. And it could be like a PLR or something you put together, even if it's a digital information, an instant download. Now they came to your funnel, those customers, you're not breaking eBay rules or Amazon rules, because they bought through the platform, but now they're getting that special bonus. And that might be part of the reason why they bought from you as opposed to another eBayer, and because they want that additional value added bonus. And now
Yeah.
they're in your now they're in your system. Now they're doing those things, and yeah, it's just powerful. So all of a sudden you start to get creative, putting like these little things together, and man, it's just an amazing thing for sure.
Yeah, I'll give you another example that just popped in my head. We're going to have someone talk at the summit about Kindle Direct Publishing.
uh
If
oh
you're familiar
wow.
with what that is,
Yeah.
yeah. So she does these low content books. That's what it's called, and basically it's like a journal, blank journal, but like you'll design the cover for it, and you'll design like maybe like put quotes in it or something, and and when someone buys it, Amazon prints it and ships it to them. So think of it as like print on demand for books, basically. She calls them low content because you're not writing a book; it's like a journal you're making, or a diary, or um, I was looking around. I love scuba diving, and people had these log books. You have log books for diving, and people are doing it for that. But you can even do it like you sell something on Shopify, and then you can say to someone, "Hey, you really like um, infuser, and what's that thing called in the back? An infuser, um,
Yeah.
like
Yeah. That
like
oil
for
yeah.
an oil diffuser. Well, you might like this book on like holistic medicine. I don't know, something like that. And then you can
Yeah.
send them over to Amazon to buy your Kindle book. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's pretty cool. So during the summit, not only am I going to be like the host of it, I'm going to have my notebook. I'm going to be taking a lot of notes the whole time because
Yeah.
I'm pretty stoked to learn a lot.
Oh, that's really awesome stuff. And so, in the thought process, like what led into deciding to create this event? And have you done events beforehand as well?
I've done events specific to my niche
Mm-hmm.
that were in person. So I had two when I was living in New York City. The second one was the first one was just like a meetup, and just like me and whoever else wanted to come. The second one, I had a few speakers there, but it was all related to like my little niche of drop shipping on eBay and Amazon.
Mm-hmm.
We had like, I think like close to 100 people show up for that, and it's pretty awesome in the middle of a blizzard too. So it was a great turnout, um, and that was an amazing event. Um, but then when I moved to Florida, I had another meetup. It was a little bit smaller because we're not in New York City. And then when this started happening, and I got stuck inside a house
Yeah.
with some extra time, but I saw a lot of other people with extra time. I was thinking, like, what can I do right now to really show up for people? Like, I really wanted to give a lot of value to people during this time period. I started making more YouTube videos. I just felt like there was something more that could be done.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, I was talking with my husband. We were bouncing ideas off each other, and I think it was actually his idea. It's like, why don't you just have like a virtual conference? I was like, oh
Yeah.
man, it's such a good idea. So we started organizing it, and we're like, we got to do this fast because that's when Trump
Yeah.
was saying that he was going to lift all the restrictions by Easter. So we're like, okay, we got to do before Easter. So we started like rushing, and that just wasn't possible. But we did manage to put it together, and it's going to be fine. We have more than enough time to get ready for next week. And then I started like looking into some things. I started looking at this expert who like who specializes in online summits and teaches how to do it. And I was just looking at his website real quick, and he said like it normally takes 3 months to 6 months to plan one. And I was like, oh my gosh, we just did this in like 3 weeks. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
But I guess we're all like at home. We all have the time. All our schedules are organized, so it just worked out perfectly. I think it's going to be incredible.
Yeah. Yeah, and I tell you, I mean, with the communication, the way you extended the invite to myself, and even from what I've seen you communicate to the guests that are going to be attending, very well organized. So I mean, within a matter of time, you put things together, and I thought everything together very well organized. So I think that's awesome, and I think that's going to show, you know, the kind of power, especially with the tools at our fingertips now, the
Hmm.
power that we could quickly turn around and like how many people already registered. I mean, I have the site actually displaying on the live stream, and you can see the bubbles that are people are registering as we're talking.
Yeah. Yeah, we have over 1,000 that have signed up.
Powerful.
So
Yeah.
yeah.
So for the
Oh, and by the way,
audience,
the whole thing's hosted on Clickfunnels, by the way.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so for the audience listening, yeah, I mean, you could see, over 1,000 people, quickly register. I mean, he put together this thing, and it's really good. And I think it's just going to be an awesome event for sure. It's spanning across the 2 days, and just value bombs for sure. And I think it's really important for a lot of reasons, and I think that's why you put it together, which is like, okay, there's going to be a lot of people, searching, for that additional way. What can I do to make extra money or make money from home? Because there's a good number of people that were laid off because they cannot physically go to work anymore, and or maybe there are some people physically going to work, but now, if they didn't like if they didn't like their job before, they really don't like their job now, and they're looking for another way out. So the biggest thing, and that I feel is just like, opportunity. And this event is going to be given an opportunity to everybody, because one of the things that I feel is just like there's a lot of people that's caught up in the world of they don't know that they don't know. You mentioned the guy about Kindle publishing. There's probably a good number of people that don't even know that that's even an opportunity that they could do and put something together right from their home. And they're probably knowledgeable and an expert in something that, you and I are not an expert in, but they could produce something and actually sell it in a marketplace that, people would buy. So there's just so many different things like that. There's so many opportunities, but I think people get caught up. They don't know that they don't know, and I think this is going to give a full exposure to a lot of opportunities that are out there for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
this
I
is
agree. And I think that another misconception about right now is that people aren't spending money. I think there's a lot of fear that um, for people trying to start an online business, that like this is a terrible time to start it because no one has money, no one's spending money, and that's just not true. I mean, the facts are, I mean, you can look at the news, just search on the news for Amazon, you'll see they're hiring more people, or their stocks
yeah,
going up. Why? Because e-commerce is exploding, and with that, it's bringing with it, Kindle Direct Publishing. It's bringing with it Shopify, eBay. I mean, sales across all these platforms are insane right now. It's better than any Christmas we've ever seen because
yeah,
everyone, they're forced to shop online. So it's, yes, we can't negate what's happening in the economy. It's definitely real, but there's also a shift happening,
hmm
and it's been happening for years, but it's been accelerated to a massive degree over the past month, and we're really seeing that as us as sellers.
no, that's awesome, and that's a really great point too, because um, already beforehand it was like people were already buying habits were shifting, last year. And when I saw like even Toys R Us that, right before Christmas time, Toys R Us stores are closed, and
Hmm.
I have kids, and I was just like, man, I remember, going to Toys R Us to buy Christmas gifts for my kids, and now to see that, that it's just a big empty store, but that was already taking place just because buying habits were already shifting. And like you said, now people are forced into it, where the mass number of people, where people don't want to physically go to the stores anymore because of, the fear of catching something or whatever. And now there's like a whole accelerated demand of online shoppers, which
Yeah.
is which, so it goes to add to, what you just said, which is just like, okay, now it's accelerating, your online business, and hopefully, if you were already, taking part in online business beforehand, you're able to see, this shift and be in a good position to work from it. And if you haven't, don't feel too bad, because if you're listening, to this podcast or watching us live, or hopefully going to the summit, that you're going to be in a position to take advantage of these opportunities. Because right now, what it's doing is it's creating a change and leveling the playing field. So there's big change, which creates new opportunities. There's new problems and pain points, and it allows you to be the person that can provide that solution, to be that problem solver. And you can do that, with your own business. And it just creates, all this opportunity. And, in talking with others is just like, okay, you can take this event, and you could use it uh, as an opportunity. So people loosely say turn lemons into lemonade, right? So it's the same thing, where you can use that as an opportunity to position yourself. And as far as online business goes, it's accelerating really fast, for sure, man. And you know what, it reminded me of one question that I wanted to ask you, and I think like this is actually really important. And I think it'll help a lot of people that are listening to this right now. And I wrote it down so I could make sure I could ask it word for word, so let me actually read it here. So this is a really important question. So imagine you had a couple of $1,000s to your name, and in these current times, if you had to start all over again, knowing what you know now, what would you do over the next 30 days to start a business that would actually make you money, and why?
Okay. So like with everything going on in the world right now, you mean?
Yeah.
Okay. So you used this word before earlier in the conversation, that comes to mind right now. It's the word leverage. And what I've discovered over the past few years since I've really started to be successful with my online businesses is that leveraging is so critical to success and to accelerate success. So when I first started selling online, trying to make money online, I thought that I had to do everything myself, that I had to learn on my own, and that if I paid anyone to do those things, then I was just taking money out of my profit, out of my pocket. And what I've discovered is that that's just the absolute wrong way to think about it. There are so many opportunities out there, a lot of them free, to learn and leverage other people's existing success. And that can greatly accelerate your own success. So that means like learning things for free, like going on YouTube, coming to the summit, different opportunities like that. Or even asking friends. Like, obviously, I have a lot of friends now who are successful. I would go to them and say to them, what's working for you right now? I've been out of the game for whatever reason. I've been out of the game for a couple of years, or whatever this scenario makes it as. Um, what what's working right now? Can you show me? And if I have to pay for that, I'm willing to do that now because I know the power in that. So that's the first thing I would do: learn from those people who are already doing really well, and then just execute on it. Have faith in it. That's another problem that I see is people hear from these experts and they get the advice, but they don't actually, they still have fear. They don't have faith that it's going to work. So they don't execute on it. And I would apply exactly what they're telling me to do. And I would do that. I would start my eBay store that same day, get it set up, get it running exactly how they tell me to do it. And I would start listing up the items right away using the criteria that they give me. The other thing that the like the other way that you can leverage your other people's expertise is from I'll give you an example. So I mentioned before that, or maybe I think I mentioned this before. Earlier in the year, I started to dabble in Shopify a little bit. This is right before I met you, and when I started to do that, I went on the Shopify and I was like, okay, man, this is going to take me like 3 weeks to build this website. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to pay someone to build me a Shopify website. And this is before I met you. Otherwise, I probably would have had you do it. But I paid someone to do it. It wasn't that expensive compared to the time I would have put into it. In like 3 days, they got me this beautiful website that was so much better than anything I could have made myself. So if right now I was looking to start on Shopify, I would do something like that. I would leverage these other people's um, expertise, because
Yeah.
time is something we don't get back. That is not a renewable resource, but money is. So the money you put into your business is money that you'll get back out if you do everything right. Maybe your first business isn't successful, but eventually you'll learn from all that and you'll get that money back. But time you'll never get back. If you spend 6 months designing a Shopify website, um, you're not going to get those 6 months back. But if you spend the money to have someone else do it, you can get that money back. So that's another example of leveraging it. For myself, I would probably, because I know eBay, to kind of more concretely answer your question, I would jump right into eBay. I think it's I've considered it like one of the most simplest business models. Just get it set up and have faith that what these experts are telling me is working, and
Hmm.
just go all for it and do it that way.
Yeah, yeah. No, very well said, and you touched on a lot of good points there. Especially about time. I like to word it as, it's your opportunity to buy back your time. You
Mm-hmm.
can buy back your time in so many different ways when you look at the trade-off. If there's things around the house that you have to do, but also like you mentioned in your business, when you begin to systematize things to the point where, okay, now I can delegate certain activities, because now I'm able to buy back my time. So you can be that business owner, you can be that visionary, come up with what works for you, because that's one of the things is like, just like you said, leveraging other people's knowledge. So we leverage other people's knowledge, and you take the best of what everything that you consumed, and you put together this mashup, and you found something that works really good for you. And no, every business, no business is the same, but you found something that works for you, and now you
Mm-hmm.
systematized it where, okay, pieces of it you can delegate to others, and you're buying back your time. And I think touching on that, because like you said, if you spend 6 months on just building, like if it was a website or a store or something like that, but you couldn't put your time into anything else, you lost that time. And who knows, I mean, so much has changed over this past month, let alone 6 months. All of a sudden, that store, that time that you've been working on there, may not be as good anymore, just because of you spent too much time, it took too long.
Yeah, that's exactly right. That's you said it better than I did, because if you decide right now, let's say, just to make a Shopify store, and you spend so much time putting it together that by the time everyone goes back to work and going back to the stores, you haven't even built your store completely. You just missed out on that huge opportunity to eat up some of those sales.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Time to market. So being able to act quickly on that for sure. And then I like that you touched on the topic of fear, because I think it's something that can block a lot of people as well. So leveraging people's knowledge, and I think I see far too many people that they get caught up in consuming. It's great if you're listening to the podcast, or if you're watching Paul
Mm.
on YouTube, or definitely come to the event and learn. But you need to take action, and it's gonna be fearful. Fear is always there. You need to learn to be comfortable with being uncomfortable, and the definition of courage is taking action despite fear. So fear is
Hmm.
always going to be there, and that's what takes courage to actually step out and do that. So when you have that in your mindset, that, okay, now I'm taking action and I'm going to go through, and it, might be fearful, might be some uncertainty, but if you have it in your mind that you're determined to do it and you made a decision to do it, then, you just plow through. And then hopefully you can plug into a good group. You can have some good mentors. So, plugging in with Paul or myself, we try to make things accessible so that you can actually, reach out to somebody who needs help to kind of help pull you along or to help motivate you, or different things like that, which I think is really important.
Yeah, and I get that it can be there's a lot of uncertainty when you start something new, but action, creates clarity, and you'll see that as soon as you start something, it begins to make a lot more sense.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, powerful, man. Yeah, I tell you, I'm looking forward to this event for sure. And so, where should they go to sign up? I know I posted a link on there myself, but the name of the event, where would they go?
It so you should go. It's summit.dropshippingtitans.com. There's no www because it's a subdomain. So
Yep.
you just type into the URL bar at the top, summit.dropshippingtitans.com.
Awesome. And the dates are.
April 23rd and 24th. There's talks throughout the day, so you can pick which ones you want or come to all of them. And there will be a replay for about like 24 hours or probably through the end of the weekend for the videos if you can't make it. But if you make it live, you can ask questions to the speakers. So that's really valuable as well.
Awesome. Yeah. And the entire event is free? Free.
Completely free, yeah.
Awesome, man. Yeah, I tell you, yeah, it doesn't get any better than that for sure. And yeah, looking at it, and like I said, folks, Paul put this together quickly, and very professional, well structured, and organized. So I think it's really exciting, and I was, yeah, honored to be on the list to help speak. And I tell you, I'm going to be pulling things. I'm going to be delivering a lot of free value there for sure. Definitely actionable golden nuggets, things that are working today. So, stuff that I'm working on, I know that, I could easily take stuff that can produce $1,000 days in drop shipping. So, this is really great stuff, and I think it'll be valuable for a lot of people. So, man, I tell you, this is really great, and we're now doing this live, so you'll be able to see this on YouTube as well. And actually, maybe let's even talk about that. What's been, some of the recent activities you've been doing on YouTube?
Well, pretty much over the last maybe like 2 weeks, about 2 weeks, I've been trying to go live pretty much every work day. So I've been doing a lot of live streaming because so much is changing so rapidly. Like every day, pretty much every day, we get some new announcement from eBay or Amazon, or all these, so many different things affecting our business, right? Stock market, eBay, Amazon. We have all these small business loans, and all my viewers are small business owners.
Mm-hmm.
So every day I'm going live, updating people what's going on, answering questions, going like literally telling people what items to sell, because we're seeing uh, trends, very clear trends of
Trend.
what's
Yeah.
killing it right now.
Yeah.
Um, so I haven't gotten live every day, but pretty much every work day.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. So I'd say for the audience listening, if you're not already following Paul, because I mean he's got a big subscriber base, but if you're not already following, I'd say follow him on YouTube, and be sure to check him out. And yeah, I mean if he's talking about product trends, I'm I remember even getting a couple of emails from you as you were emailing your audience, and I thought that was really good, speaking to the current events that are happening. And yeah, that's leading to current trends that are out there. And sure enough, based on the product research, you can clearly see these trends that are spiking.
Mhm.
And there it's trends across product lines. And I mean we're not talking about people that are trying to sell hand sanitizers and masks, but there's so many other opportunities out
Yeah.
there, like number one, I think, don't try to be, like a scammy get rich quick on hand sanitizers and
No.
stuff like that. Cause people got in trouble for gouging, right?
Yeah, they did. Yeah. And you don't need it either. I'll drop a quick hint. Puzzles and games, insane right now. People are buying them up. And like,
Yeah.
who would have guessed that a few
Yeah.
weeks ago?
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. I mean, basically everything, the thought process should be everything related to stuck at home. Okay.
Yes.
Stuck at
Yeah.
home. Well, there's so many different, and it's all trending up. And, you just kind of use that, put on your thinking cap, and then your market testing. So there's a whole process. And I'd say, Paul, and, maybe what's an example of like, market testing in the space that you're in. So if it's like eBay, Amazon, and you had an idea, what's the way that you would test that out?
So the first thing that we do is we jump on, let's say it's eBay, jump on eBay and see, is this actually selling? Because eBay will give you that data and there's some external software we use to make that even easier. But we could just search for, let's say, webcams, hint, hint, because everyone's now working from home and needs a video conference. So you search for webcams and you see, oh yeah, sure enough, there's a huge spike in sales of webcams. So that's step
That's a good
one.
one.
And then step two is you actually list some of them up and see what sells. And it's very easy to list items and then delete them later with drop shipping.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. That's awesome. Yeah, really good stuff. So hopefully you guys got some good nuggets there. I think we'll bring it to the wrap because we're gonna save a lot of the goodies, for the summit, which is coming up. So April 23rd, 24th, summit.dropshippingtitans.com. I'm gonna be there. Paul's gonna be there. So many other people that are crushing it, and I'd say, go check it out. And I mean, um, this is an opportunity, and I'd say, hopefully if you were already plugged in and following, this is yet another of where you're going to get good current information of how people are currently running and taking advantage of these type of opportunities and trends. And if you're just getting started, it's also just for you, so that you can learn about all the different opportunities that are there, so that you can then, begin to follow further who you most relate to. So if you're more interested in eBay, Amazon, then you definitely should be following Paul. And if you like, Shopify, dropshipping, Clickfunnels, this kind of stuff, then I could definitely help you out as well. And then there's so many other guests in there, like you mentioned, with Kindle publishing, stuff like that. There's really so many opportunities, and all of them work. I proved out all of those different models that work, and they do work. Um, but it's just a matter of pick one and really just kind of hammer home with it. But they all do legitimately work and legitimate business models. You pick the one that you most relate to, and then take action, really, right?
absolutely. Couldn't have said it better myself.
Awesome. Well, okay, well, we'll bring it to a wrap here. And actually, well, let me give you a chance to leave some closing remarks with the audience, and then we'll end it from there.
Sure, guys. So, guys, thanks so much for letting me come on the podcast, YouTube, video, everywhere this is going. And guys, the summit, I would love for you to come. It is completely free, so there's really like no excuse not to show up. Register. You can always watch the videos later. We're just trying to bring you guys as much value as we can. Amazing experts. So I would love it for you guys to come.
Awesome. Well, thanks a lot, Paul. Thanks for the time today, and we'll definitely be in touch for sure.
Awesome. Have a good one.
Okay, I'm going to stop the Zoom recording and let me stop the live stream. So, for you guys, folks, I just stopped the recording for the podcast. And for you folks on the live stream, this will be it as well. I'm going to stop the live stream right now.